All right, y'all, we're back working on the Nova again. Let's see if we can get this thing running and idling and then work on the steering a little bit. First thing we gotta do, we gotta pop on all these brackets and whatnot, get a radiator in and get filled up with water. Go ahead and throw on the bottom pulley. So, started the process of putting on the bracket that's going to hold the alternator. So I'm coming to realize that whoever assembled this engine, it was just a hodgepodge of crap that does not work together. So I'm beginning to think that I'm going to need to order some more stuff. Alright, we got it almost on there. Now, it's not perfect, but it's going to work for what we need. So I picked up some new rubber bushings for the bottom. Go ahead and throw them in. Then we're going to throw our concourse level eBay radiator in. You'll see that sticker up top, made in China. That means quality. The finest radiator hold down I ever did see. Go ahead and cut these tails off of these zip ties. Looks a little bit more professional. Now you can see a knot right there. That's because I didn't trust the little bitty zip ties as much, so I just chose to use more of them. But look, that baby's in there. It ain't going nowhere. Let's throw these hoses back on. I forgot to get more of them, so we're just gonna have to use the old ones for now. I would say this hose is just a touch too long, so we're gonna cut it down a good bit. That'll work for me. Now, I told myself that I needed to go buy a new lower radiator hose, but I forgot. I just went ahead and cut off the bad spot. Oh yeah, that'll be fine. Now, since I'm the finest hack mechanic, I'm gonna try to clean out this core and I use it so I don't have like an air pocket. Oh yes, clean out all the rust. All right, now that we got some decent clean water coming out of there, I can hook everything up. Now the reason for doing that is I want to be able to put this hose right here and then bring it back right here, so the water has somewhere to go. They say if you don't have this loop right here, it doesn't really help out the cooling system. So I've got some hose and some fittings. So we're just gonna throw it together real quick. There we go. There we go. Now that looks halfway factory. I think it'll keep us from getting the air pocket stuck in the head and everything. So let's go ahead and fill up the radiator. Now, whenever I fill up a car for the first time, I always use distilled water. My thing is, I don't know if something's gonna leak, if there's gonna be a problem, and I don't want to waste the money on coolant. Because coolant is expensive, distilled water is cheap. Alright, so we got water to here. So that means we got a good bit of air out of it. Now that that is wide open, I'm going to go ahead and chunk the temperature sender portion of that in that hole. So last night I went through and rebuilt the carburetor. I didn't know the last time it was built. I did get some crap out of it. And I just set the floats with an eyeball. So now I'm going to put my clicky clack on it, fill up the carburetor, and pull the screws on the side of the bowls and see where the floats are at. Alright, so we're going to see if we get fuel to here. We got fuel coming out of this hole, so that means this float is right where it needs to be. Now that the floats have been set and everything, I'm going to run it. And we're going to try to dial in the timing, you know. And after we get it to where it sounds pretty good, then we'll start working on steering and electrical and stuff like that. But fire in the hole. now that I've got it running halfway decent, the more I run this thing, the more I'm starting to think that it has a pretty decent sized cam in it. I had no idea about this engine. Whenever I bought the car that it come out of, I had zero information. So I'm running it on 87. I think it needs 93, and I think it needs a different set of plugs, a little colder heat range or whatever, colder or hotter. Somebody will roast me down in the comments. It'll be fine, but because it's lean popping, and I'm trying to adjust out of it. But the vacuum, I had a vacuum gauge on it, and it's not creating a whole lot of vacuum at idle. No matter what I did to it, wasn't creating a whole lot of vacuum. So I think I'm probably gonna have to do a little bit more work to it. I mean, it runs. So now that we know it runs halfway decent, tomorrow I think we're gonna tackle doing the steering portion of this. So I never showed y'all, but the pitman arm and everything that they had was wrong. Pitman arm was wrong, drag link's wrong, everything about this setup is wrong. So I went ahead and bought all brand new stuff, and we're gonna put that on in the morning, and hopefully we can drop this baby to the ground. Now, since I'm here, I'm probably gonna go ahead and try to knock off the rest of what they got before it gets too late. All right, so we got the nut off. Let's see if it's gonna be nice. I got my big hammer. We're gonna strike it. Look at that, comes right off. Let's do the other side. Same thing, got the nut off. Boom, baby. Just like that. My favorite body working hammer, and she'll fall right out. So now that we've got that out, the best thing to do is we need to find the center point for the rack. So go lock to lock. All right, now let's count turns. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't really stop in the same spot, but it's close. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 turns almost. So we need to go 2 and about a quarter. So 1, 2. Now that should be, the rack should be centered. And now we can install the pitman arm, and then the drag link, and then the center link. All right, so we've got our new pitman arm. Now this pitman arm is keyed at the 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
Hey Pa, can I do the hammer?
Not yet, but it's keyed, y'all, so it can really only go on one way. So that's why you need to center your rack first. And as you can tell, right here is one of the keys to set it up to where it's straight. So that's why you need to set your steering wheel up pretty straight.
But now I can do the hammer now.
He's ready to hit it. But since we got that done, let's go ahead and throw the pitman arm on.
I know what it's going to do. Papa.
Should run up with the nut. All right, so we have the pitman arm installed. Let's go ahead and throw the drag link on, and then the center link, and we should be close enough for tomorrow. All right, so here's why I'm changing all this. Looking at it right now, you can 100% tell the difference in how it's made. So this center link is not for this car at all. I don't know what vehicle it's from. I'm suspecting like a second gen Camaro, like 80 something Camaro is what I'm thinking. So I'm gonna throw this in, and then we'll probably call it for tonight. But I just want to show y'all that. So there's some other funny things going on the front end of this vehicle that I'll show y'all tomorrow, but I just wanted y'all to see this tonight. There you go. That is 100% installed now. Actually looks pretty good because it works. The other one didn't work. I didn't show y'all, but the other one ran into the oil pan on the straight 6. It was horrible. But this one, and these are not top of the line parts. These are all Chinesium parts because, well, let's face it, I wasn't expecting to pay for all of this and it had to be cheap. So it'll last for now. So I'll see y'all in the morning. We're gonna start throwing tie rods on, start trying to do some brakes. So I'm back out here for day whatever, you know, working on this Nova, and I'm installing the front steering stuff. Now, I have found some issues from doing the other side. This is not the right spindle at all. So a regular Nova spindle, the caliper is on this side, and it's a two-piece design, and the pickup point for the outer tie rod bolts onto the spindle. This one is all one piece, and looking at it, I think this is for a second gen Camaro, and I'll show you here in just a second. But I went ahead and assembled the inner, outer tie rod and the sleeve. Here's a good thing about Rock Auto, if you didn't know. Sometimes you can get new old stock parts. So this is a box that has sat on a shelf for forever, and I got them for next to nothing. What I did is I just matched the other side with the length. It's gonna be close enough. Now here's another way that I know this is wrong. Undoubtedly the taper is wrong in the pickup point for the outer tie rod, because that is tight. Now I didn't go tight as a banjo string because, well, I'm gonna have to change these spindles. So there's another thing that's just adding to the cost of this rig. So I'm gonna have to change the spindles eventually. This is okay to just drive around in the yard. It's not going on the road until we put spindles on it. So that means I'm not even gonna fool with these brake lines up here. Probably gonna throw on a master and do the rear brakes because I know I have the right stuff for them. Well, it's been a little while, and what I'm doing is the drum brakes in the rear. Now, one of the most aggravating things in the world is doing drum brakes without any idea of how they go together. Well, the only godsend is I have this Camaro sitting right here. Y'all never seen it, I've never showed it to you. That's my other Camaro. But I need the spreader bar and the little wing thing up here at the top, because the professional drum brake kit doesn't come with those things, and I'm gonna show you why I need them. This is the brakes for my Nova. There ain't none there. They're gone. So I've already done one side, and I do know these halfway work. Is it perfect? No. Would I prefer to have the parts for a Nova? Yeah, but I gotta do what I gotta do, and this is gonna get it rolling. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock off this wheel cylinder. Well, I can tell somebody's been here before because that nut is completely round. I did break it loose with some fire. There's, I think, one good side left on it. There it is. Whoop. Telling you guys, this poor Nova been in the hands of some people who do not give a crap. Well, just did all of that for nothing because as soon as I got it loose, it just fell right off. So perfect. I can get that out of there. First step to this very professional brake job is going to be a brand new wheel cylinder. Go ahead and throw that right in there. Take our spreader bar that we just repurposed, throw on a new Springer line, chunk it in there. Throw on the front pad. That down in there. That right there. Drop everything 15 damn times. Alright, are you watching? Because I'm only going to do this once. Go ahead and get that on there. Here we go. Front pad installed. Now, rear pad. Grab our yellow spring Set up our nail. Load the spring retainer device. Boop. That's how I like to do it, y'all. You'll do it however y'all want to do it. Alright, on the Nova, you gotta have this mess like this for it to work. Shoot the gap. Load up your spring. Boom.
How do we do these? We can't see the camera.
Now that we've got our adjuster out and we've got our drum fully assembled, go ahead and put on this brand new painted drum. So now we got this done, but brake line's busted. We need to replace that hose. So I guess, I don't know, I think I'm done back here for now. I think I'm gonna jump up and go replace the front master cylinder before I do anything else. Tired of laying around underneath these drum brakes. Well, it's time to replace the master, and y'all know the best way to do it is to just go ahead and put heat on the hoses. Hit it with a little juice. Really a little. I'm about out of this stuff. Hand hammer. That's a winner. I'm telling y'all. That's how you do it. A little bit of heat, a little bit of PB every time. Yep, saved another one. Alright, so here's our new master, and before we go put it on the car, let's paint it so it doesn't rust. Now, I've masked this off, and here's a little trick y'all probably seen before, but it's pretty handy if you haven't. So, got a nice little cast iron piece with a nice edge. Just beat on it. There you go. See? Just like that. Perfect masking job. Ta-da! I'm a genius. Now, let's hang it up in our paint booth. Alright, we've got it hung up in the paint booth. I'm gonna clean off the oil that they ship it with, and then put some of the old, where's it at? Put some of the Old Faithful on it, DHT. This has got gloss in it. It's all freshly painted nice and black, so we're just gonna let it sit in here in the oven. This is what this shop feels like. It literally feels like an oven. Shouldn't take long for it to flash off, and while we're at it, we'll go ahead and finish getting this master off. I need a bigger 9/16 wrench. All right, I got the pawpaw 9/16 wrenches and double wrench. Easy peasy. I want to let the paint set on that master, so I think we're going to jump back to the rear as much as I don't want to. Damn it, I don't want to. We're going to go ahead and get the line out of the back. All right, let's go. So underneath the car, it's not a very pleasant place, but I was going to cut this line, but as I just touched it, it managed to finish breaking itself in half, so that doesn't bode well for this line coming out. So this might be a line we have to redo also, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna put the heat on it right there, try to break it loose. Not optimistic, but we're gonna try. I think we might have saved it. Oh yeah. There we go, got it out. All right, I'm gonna blow some air through that line. Y'all tell me if it's clear. Well, how'd it do? Was it clear? All right, it is not all the way dry, but it is dry enough to be installed. All right, so the paint is still sticky on this. That means it ain't dry. So for tonight, I'm out of time. So for tonight, I'm just gonna finish bolting this up, maybe throw a little bit of fluid in it, put the lines on it, and that's about it. So we'll see y'all Monday. So this is Memorial Day weekend, and if you or anybody you know is in the service, I want to say we appreciate your service. All right, we are back, and it is time to do brakes. So just got back from my Riley Auto Parts, you know. O'Reilly's. Picked up some brake lines. They're just prefabbed brake lines with two fittings on them. Well, yeah, two fittings on them. I'm going to throw these in there, get them kind of somewhat into shape, probably cut them down just a little bit, because all they had was two that were about 6 foot too long for both of them. So I went ahead and cleaned up underneath the car because all the rust that had fallen. I don't want to be laying in that. So the first step is going to be to install our new T-piece or union, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to bend this, just put a slight kick in it with a socket. Put my wrench on here. Try to. It's easier to do this right underneath the car. Let's see if that did it. That eyeball's on point today. So we got it kicked up. It's pretty close. That's all we're going for, is pretty close. We need to kick it back. Need to kick it back over about right here, and it needs to go straight. I think that's gonna work just like that. All right, now we're back up from up underneath the car. Go ahead and cut this, and then we'll flare it. I ain't got no special tools, so we've got that cut. Need our fitting back. Don't forget, put this on. Gotta have that. Now, pull out our reaming device. All right, now for the very special cheapo device, the brake flaring tool. I'm gonna mount this puppy into the vise and give her hell. These things are simple. You just put your hose in there, match it up to the first shoulder, drop that down in there, get our pinching device and pinch it. All right, that's flush. Come off of it. Operation 2. There we go. Got us a flare. Might be a little bit deeper than theirs, but it should still seal. There you go. I had to come up a little bit higher right here. I probably should have moved the T about right here, but that's where it was in the beginning. So I had to come up just a little bit higher and get more of a straight end so I could get the fitting and my flaring tool on this leg. So it's a little bit higher, but it looks pretty good. If it works, it'll be just fine. Now, I think I'm done being underneath the vehicle for today. Yeah, I'd say we're working some air out of it. I'm just doing the old Pump-A-Lot 3000. I got the vacuum bleeder out here in a second. Whenever I'm getting a little bit of a pedal here, I'll go around all the wheels and try to suck some fluid through. Alright, y'all know how we do it. The old I work alone brake system bleeder by myself 3000. Let's go check the master, make sure we didn't suck it dry. Rear brakes acquired. Let's see if we can do something with these fronts. Alright, so I've managed to snap off both bleeders, and I'm trying to decide if I want to change these hoses, even though I know these spindles and calipers are not right. I don't know. I'm just deciding. I guess I'm gonna go ahead and change the hoses, and we'll try to bleed them a little bit, maybe to get these rotors working some. I'm not too optimistic. Rotors, calipers working some. I'm not too optimistic. I think this one on the driver's side is trying to seize up, so probably just gonna change the hoses so I can already have that done. Maybe, I don't know. Y'all know the drill. Heat, spray, and pray. Well, we got one off. I'm gonna let that turd cool down just a little bit before I go to put my hands on it. Let's jump to the other side. I'd show y'all this, but y'all have already seen it. Y'all know the drill. It's just heat, and whenever the hose goes, it's hot enough to take off. Well, I have moved on from brakes for one part. Well, I don't have any brakes, and probably not gonna have brakes today. So let's do something that we probably don't need. Let's install an old used B&M shifter. So as you can tell, I very carefully removed the carpet with a razor blade because I wanted to save it, to find the best spot for this shifter. And I'm gonna do the right thing and just install it with self-tapping screws for now. So I'd hate to ruin these pristine floors, but it'll be all right. That ain't going nowhere. All right, now let's throw the cable on. I think I'm gonna sneak through that hole right there and just go, well, I don't know. We'll see how much cable length I got. Usually you need a hole saw or something to get the actual cable through the floor. Not on this rig. A pair of stake-ons and you can pretty much hit it one good time, and you can kind of cut it the rest of the way. Ain't a whole lot there. Now that that is fished through that hole, I had to open it up just a little bit more, but it was a piece of cake. Baby blues, open it on up through the cable through there. Let's go do the bottom side. All right, so the bottom side is done. Let's fire it up and see if we have some gears. Hey, just more work for us next weekend. I appreciate you for watching. We'll see you next weekend.